All right, we're back with another edition of Kofi Late Night Talk with Kofi Bartels right here on Facebook. And that's my name, Kofi Bartels. I'm so glad to be joining you today. Thanks to those who've been waiting on the line, waiting online to see us. And of course, we have a very engaging, very informative conversation for you this evening. Lockdown in parts of Nigeria extended by 14 days. What do you make of this? Lockdown in Nigeria extended by 14 days. Now, talking about lockdown extended by 14 days, of course, we cannot talk about the lockdown without talking about the speech by President Buhari, where he announced that the lockdown will be extended for 14 days. So what do you make of the president's speech? What do you make of the federal government's handling of COVID-19 response in Nigeria? That's number one. Number two, palliatives. Have you received yours? What do you make of that? And thirdly, on the COVID-19 lockdown, hungry youth are on the prowl in Lagos State, and I hear as Okon State as well. What's the way forward? I'll be having two guests on the program this evening. Maryann, Okon, my colleague who used to be with me in Port Harcourt, she's found her way to Lagos State. She'll be joining me. But first, I have the man I like calling the troublemaker or the table shaker in a three-piece suit. His name is Andy Akpotive. As a public affairs commentator, and of course also he is a professional in the medical field, a writer and a nation builder, like he likes calling himself. He joins me on the line from somewhere in Port Harcourt to talk about this. But please don't forget, you can drop your comments in the comment section and I'll be very glad to read from you. Good evening to you, Andy Akpotive.
Good evening, Oga Kofi Bartels. Good evening to people of Nigeria and to citizens of the world.
Wow, thank you so much for joining us right here on Facebook Live. Is a different era, a different experience. But I'm so glad you can join us.
Absolutely, thank you so much for having me.
And I'd like to say a very happy Easter to you.
Same to you, Kofi. Same to you. Same to you. And I hope that with this Easter, as Christ has resurrected, everything that is supposed to be good, the best of the qualities of leadership, would resurrect in the kinds of leaders that we have today. You know, the best of the qualities of leadership is being dead for too long. And I'm afraid it's been dead for a time longer than 3 days. But we hope that by the resurrection of Jesus Christ, our leaders will begin to find that these things that are the best, the most sterling qualities that great leadership elsewhere possess, that have been dead in them, they will begin to see that they come alive again. We're just praying and hoping that these things come alive. Otherwise, we would quickly do away with them, that they be replaced with people who have capacity, who can deliver on the best of the dividends of democracy that we expect.
Okay, that was quite some speech, but I know that it's coming from a place of, Andy, of passion for Nigeria, of love for Nigeria. You want to see things get better and all that. Andy, the president gave a speech, a very, very interesting speech this evening, and he had quite a number of things to say. Did you watch Mr. President's speech?
Absolutely, from the beginning to the end. As a matter of fact, I'm working on it even before you got to me, because there's a program we are supposed to analyze the speech tomorrow by 10 o'clock. So I'm looking at all the details in the speech before you got to me, You called it quite an interesting speech. It is a case of different folks for different people, different strokes for different folks. Yeah, for me...
Interesting leaves a lot to the imagination,
Yes, it is relative. Interesting is a relative term. It's relative to whoever is defining it. There are people who would say a thing is interesting by reason of their experiences, or by reason of their expectations, or by reason of their educational qualification. A film can be interesting if you have not seen any film that is a lot more interesting. Yeah, so if you said that the president's speech is interesting, I would say that it's either because you are a journalist, or perhaps it's interesting by your expectation. But if you ask me, I would say that there's nothing really very interesting about the president's speech. In the first instance, it was a military-style speech. It was akin to the kind that we received from, those who were military leaders in those days, the likes of the Badamosi Babangida, the likes of the Abachas, the likes of the Gowons and all that, people who held sway during the military era, the way they gave speeches in their time, this indeed is akin to the kind of speeches that we received in those times. Because if you actually wanted to address a problem that is ravaging the entire humanity, a problem that you would need the input of your people, a problem that you do not have all of the answers, you are not omnibus regarding all the answers, to this problem. I would have expected that the president would have had a conversation with the people after.
Andy, are you saying Mr. President did not have a conversation? I don't understand. I mean,
so what the conversation? What we had was more of a monologue.
Are you complaining about the conversation with? Did you want him to call every single Nigerian to Asurok to sit down in front of him to now start chatting with him or what?
No, we have seen how these things are done in civilizations outside of Nigeria. When I say civilizations outside of Nigeria, I'm not only referring to European countries or countries in the America or countries elsewhere or in Asia. I'm talking about even certain countries.
Let's go to Ghana, neighboring Ghana. Have you seen the president of Ghana address a press conference?
Absolutely.
Andy, no. Andy, I'm not defending President Buhari, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just telling you that the president of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, my uncle, but we're not related, has not had a conversation. It's been an address to the nation. It's just been addresses. It's a nation. He addresses the nation, and those who have conversations, maybe a press conference, people can ask questions, are the Minister of Information, the Minister of Health, and other people in the whole ministerial and governmental team handling COVID-19 response in Ghana. And in Nigeria, you've had the Minister of Health address the press and take questions. You have the head of NCDC address the press, take questions. You've had the Chief of Staff to the President, the Secretary of Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa. Aren't these enough?
So, Kofi, let me just jump in on this very quickly.
Yeah.
If you were flying from Ghana to Nigeria, and it was turbulence, amid your flight, and you had just the air hostess who is equally trained address the people, how comfortable would you be? I'm saying this because
I don't understand the question, Andy. I don't understand what you.
Yes. Can you be in Nigeria and outside of Nigeria? Yeah. And certain times when you get to certain turbulent area and it seems as though the plane is shaking and the plane is looking like it's going to fall off the air, you get the pilots come on the mic and speak to the people because he is the pilot. He is the one that
the president just spoke this evening, Andy, and you are saying you're complaining.
Yes, this is the point.
Does the pilot leave the cockpit?
I said this because you said that we have people from NCDC address us. We have people from the Ministry of Health address us. That's why I said that to you, and to make you understand that our president was elected to do certain things, and Nigerians expect that we are going to have conversation with our president. There is such a thing that is called the best practice in every kind of industry. The best practice is what is expected. The best practice is not just a facade. It's not just an opinion or something that is not tangible. The best practice is what we have seen with even the Prime Minister of Britain, who had contracted the disease and was still speaking to the people from his isolation. The best practice is
he wasn't having the conversation you so crave for. He wasn't.
No.
He was addressing.
Before he went into isolation, Boris was having conversation. He was taking questions from reporters. He was taking questions from people. But when he went into isolation, he spoke to the people and also had certain times when he did Skype, when he had feedbacks, when people responded, people asking questions, even from isolation. That is what is expected of presidents, prime minister who lead countries. That is what is expected of pilots.
Andy, right now, the person, because sometimes, and if you're watching, all right, you like to have a say on this. Andy Akpotive is on the line. He's my guest this evening. He's a nation builder. He's a public affairs commentator. And he says that as far as he's concerned, the president has not addressed Nigerians because he wants to see more than just an address. He wants to see a conversation where the president takes questions from Nigerians. What do you think about this? You can drop your comments in the comment section. Talking about comments, the Saint Demo says, Andy, please leave the president alone. You two can form a political party and contest.
That's the problem. That's the problem. That's the problem that we have in this country. That's the problem. Because we don't hold our leaders accountable. Since we don't hold them accountable, they can give us quote unquote several backbones. And as people with the backbones are not aware that we are indeed shareholders of this company of Nigeria. We are not just ordinary shareholders, but we are made reports on a daily, on a monthly regarding the affairs of the country or regarding the affairs of the company. If we would not hold them accountable, then our children yet unborn will rise up one day and say to us, Daddy, Mommy, what did you do when you people had X, Y, Z?
Andy, I'm sure the listener, the person who is making that comment there is saying that, instead of complain, you can comfortably step into the political arena and contest for a position, and then when you get there, you can do what you are accusing the president of not doing.
So Kofi, I'm not Superman.
No, I'm just reading. I'm just reading his comments.
I'm not Spider-Man. I'm not Superman, and this is why I'm saying this right now. As it stands in this country, there is no way you can emerge in this political system and you can emerge as a clean person. You can get into the arena as a clean person, tempted to be the president of this country over 3 times. Every time he went alone with some integrity, quote and unquote, he did not win until he formed the coalition with the politicians that we had always known. Because as it stands, the political arena is infested with hyenas, is infested with all kinds of fields, is infested with all kinds of perfidy. So that today, you would not be able to emerge from the gutters and not get your body stained. Unless and until we recalibrate the systems that we throw up leadership. As it stands today, you can never, mark my word, you can never have the best of individuals emerge from this process unless we pull down this structure, as it were, like Jesus said. He said, I'm going to go and we are going to rent the tent. Until the tent was rent, there was no demarcation. People could not enter into the holies of holies until the tent was rent. And Jesus was giving parable unless and until we pull down the political structure we have today in the guise of electioneering processes, we would never have the best of leaders emerge. Who would you say is the leader today in the political arena? I want to stand very confidently to say to you that anybody who emerges from this process is already compromised. I stand to be corrected and I want to be challenged. Okay. Nobody can emerge from this political process that we currently have and emerge a clean person who would indeed deliver on the best of dividends of democracy to the people without compromising.
Andy, let's stay within the scope of our discussion this evening. As far as you're concerned, it seems like the whole political process is a hopeless one. There are no good people in Nigerian politics. I guess that's why someone is urging you to to throw your hat into the ring, and but that's another issue for another day.
It will be futile. It will be futile, my brother.
And so let's look at the issues, the basic issues regarding what happened this night, this evening. Well, the president made some statements, and I want to go through a couple of them, and then of course
yes, you are breaking. I don't know if you can be a lot more.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Andy?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you now.
So the president made some statements which I would like us to look at, if you don't mind, and maybe look at the details of what he talked about and analyze it. We will not do it word for word, but we'll try our best. If you don't, okay. Yes. So now he announced, he said that the lockdown has been extended. I want to read a few words from his speech. He said, "Fellow Nigerians, in my address on Sunday, 29th March 2020, I asked residents of Lagos and Okon states, as well as the Federal Capital Territory, To stay at home for an initial period of 14 days, starting from Monday, 30th March 2020. It says, with this in mind and having carefully considered the briefings and report from the Presidential Task Force and the various options offered, it has become necessary to extend the current restriction of movement in Lagos and Ogun states as well as the FCT for another 14 days. Do you agree with the President that it has become necessary to extend this lockdown in Lagos, Ogun State, and the FCT?
Okay, so very quickly, Kofi, when they were teaching us decision making back in school, they told us that the first thing that you have to do when you want to make a decision is known as situation analysis.
Situation analysis.
You have to properly and thoroughly analyze the situation before you make the decision. So the question is this: Kofi, the President rightly said that before the lockdown, there was X amount of people that were infected. After the lockdown, it had, or right now it has skyrocketed to X, Y plus X amount of people. So the real question is, how effective, therefore, is the lockdown?
How effective is the lockdown?
The lockdown, yes, the lockdown that we had. If it was really effective, should we not have had a flattened curve, for instance?
This soon?
Such that... Are you asking the question?
This soon?
Hello?
Yeah, are you saying that if the lockdown was effective, we should have had a flattened curve? I'm asking this soon.
So I'm asking two questions. One, because I talked about situation analysis. First, how effective was this lockdown? If we had actually analyzed the lockdown and its effectiveness, would we have extended this by another 14 days?
So are you saying the lockdown has not been effective?
By the President's own words. Kofi, the speech is before you then read it now. The President has said to us that before the lockdown, we had X amount of people infected. After the lockdown, we had X plus 1 or X plus 10 amount of people now infected. In simple English, what does that mean to you now, Kofi? We are scientists now.
Okay.
Let's look at scientific fact. If you did X thing and you got X plus 1 result, you understood that you're not doing it will mean that you will get X result.
Okay, so Andy, are you saying that? What is your point? You're saying that? Hold on, so I'm coming.
Either the lockdown was not effective on its own in the first instance, or the lockdown was not the most beneficial.
When you say the lockdown was not effective, is it because of the fact that we've had additional additional cases, or what?
Kofi, it's no game saying it now.
Okay.
Look at the rising number. It tells us something.
So all the countries in the world where they are having lockdown but the numbers are rising, is it that they're also not being effective, or what?
Okay, so the difference is this, Kofi.
Yeah.
With those countries, we already had a huge number of people infected.
Yeah. And
they had contacted people before they did what they did.
Okay.
So it's only sensible that unless and until you are able to take in everybody that has contacted those people who were already infected, you will not be able to flatten the curve. Look at what happened in China. When they took those people in, the lockdown became effective. But see the number of people that were infected in our country in the first instance. And check that even if those people had contacted people, the number currently infected is a lot more than even the people that those people had contacted. Are you getting the point I'm making? It has extended beyond even Lagos and Okon. It has come into River State. It has gone into several states.
Okay, so Andy, now, the point you're making is that because we have more states getting, cases of coronavirus, positive tests or persons testing positive, it therefore means that we are wasting our time by locking some states down.
What I'm saying, Kofi, is that
because if you had said that, because in places where England in the UK, They just crossed 10,000. Sorry. No, hold on, Andy. Hold on. Andy, please hold on. Sorry. In the UK, you called Boris Johnson. You mentioned Boris Johnson's name. In the UK, they just crossed 10,000 threshold, but they are still locked down. And Boris Johnson, when he gave his speech, and other people, the cabinet, the foreign, all the secretaries, they have been expressing happiness and saying the people are doing well. They need to keep supporting the NHS. And if you look at the compliance rate in the UK, it's pretty high. I mean, we have friends in the UK and family members. We talk to them. The compliance rate is pretty high. So. But there's still an increase in the number of people infected in the UK. They were not 9,000 before they got to 9,000. Now they've passed 10,000. I don't know how many they are now. So will you therefore say that the Boris Johnson you've been praising, and then the UK they've not been effective? Is that what you're saying? Will you say that?
So Kofi, you've not been listening to me.
No, because you said the increase. You said the increased number of persons infected in Nigeria means that. Yeah.
So go to China, where this COVID-19 started from.
Yeah.
It started from Wuhan.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
When you had a lockdown in that city, what happened?
When you had a lockdown in Wuhan.
Yes. What happened?
Immediately. You tell me what happened. Yeah.
The incidence rate began to deplete, began to drop. It began to drop
immediately.
Over a short period of time. Once you had a lockdown, that was the first thing that was done by the Chinese authority. Once you had that lockdown, let me tell you, we are not learning from the advantage that time presents to us. We are not learning from the experiences of other people and domesticating it so that it becomes really ungrown.
Okay.
What we are doing is that we're just doing trial and error. Oh, they are doing this in Great Britain. Can we just adopt it immediately? Oh, they are doing this in America. Can we adopt it immediately? Oh, they are doing this in this city. Can we adopt it immediately? We are never looking at it and introspecting on these issues. That's why we are having these challenges. For instance, we are talking social distancing instead of us to be talking about physical distancing. Because social distancing and physical distancing, they are not one and the same. And whilst you can talk social distancing in Europe, you cannot talk social distancing in certain countries in Africa. So we must understand how to domesticate these things and make it homegrown. I am saying invariably that we won't be able to get better tactical solutions to fixing this problem if we would only put on our thinking cap.
Okay.
We can't just resort to shutting down.
Andy, I am not disputing the fact. I mean, you are entitled to your opinion. I'm just here, to ask you questions. Of course, play the devil's advocate. Now, I would have, agreed with you easily or easier if you had said that the lockdown is not being effective because people are moving around in Abuja, in Lagos. Not everybody is in their homes. There's some people are moving. Some places you go to.
It's absolutely not effective.
People are moving in and out. Policemen are collecting money and all that. Then I would have agreed with you. We should now therefore bring it. Hold on, sir. We should now therefore bring it back to you and I, the people. Because the president will not come to everybody's house to chase. There's no nation where lockdown can work if the people are not doing the right thing.
So, Kofi, leadership is not talk shop. Leadership is not docility. Leadership is about taking the bull by the horn, as it were. Leadership is about giving direction, showing the people how best a thing can be done, the better way of doing a thing. The president only has spoken to us 3 times since this issue. I stand to be corrected. A president must lead from the front. We have had a president who, rather than coming to speak to us, motivate the people, charge the people, inspire the people regarding this issue, and the sending of his personal aides. That's what I call them, because we did not elect the Minister of Health. We did not elect the secretary to the government. But it's not the
so hold on, Andy. What is the Minister of Health? What is his job really? What is anything wrong with the Minister of Health coming out to address Nigerians? I mean, you talked about South Africa. You've talked about Ghana. And they are also addressing. The ministers are addressing the media and other people there. You know. So
Kofi, why do you have a coach
in Lagos State, which I'm sure you might speak eloquently about Lagos State. Lagos State. Yeah.
Yes, the Lagos State governor is 24 hours speaking.
But is it? But hold on, sir. No problem. But hold on, Andy. The point I was on, the Lagos State Commissioner for Health has been speaking as well. Because Andy, if you want to be, just before you go on, if you want to be honest, the president may not be able to answer some questions that have to do with health. You know, he may not be able to answer some questions that have to do with health. So for you to tell me the Minister of Health should not be addressing the nation, I don't understand.
You are not getting me.
Okay, help me.
I am not saying the Minister of Health cannot. It has to be done in concert with the president providing leadership.
But you seem to have a problem with the president, with the minister addressing the people.
So this is the point.
Yeah.
There was a time when we said Onigbinde, who was the coach of the Nigerian team, did not perform well because every time Nigerians were playing, our team, every time we were playing, he sat on the chair without saying anything.
Okay.
And it was something that generated
I remember that should be Japan Korea 2002.
Absolutely. And you see coaches everywhere in the world haven't trained their teams properly. They would come and stand on the line giving direction. Is it that they do not have captains in the team? Is it that they do not have the best of number 10, the best of number 3, the best of defenders? They have the best of all of these. But there is need for them to stand up by the line to provide leadership, to provide motivation. That's exactly what we are talking about. We are not saying that the president understands health. Definitely, I know this. The president cannot understand health and the state of medicine more than the Minister of Health himself. But we are saying that the president cannot stand aloof. The president cannot be commanding the warriors from his bedroom. We expect to see the president in action. We expect to see our president that we have elected roll his sleeves and say that, guys, I'm with you people on this. Even though I'm not a specialist in health, even though I'm not a health minister, I am with you people. I'm giving directions.
So hold on, Andy. So what has the president been saying all this while, as far as you're concerned?
I have just told you it's anything but inspiring. It's anything but motivational. It's anything but incisive. It's anything but detailed. Look at what has happened. You've not even allowed me to analyze what happened today.
Go on.
I told us that he was increasing it from 2.6 million to 3.6 million. Kofi, I laughed out my intestine.
Why?
So how do you just decree a thing? What is this one thing that we are? 200 million people. Kofi, I wrote an article and it's everywhere now. Okay. As a matter of fact, it was trending on Twitter where I had questioned the what understanding of leadership about what the very word palliative or the word palliative measure means.
Yeah.
Palliative or palliative measure is not just essentially for the poor, particularly when this thing is ravaging everybody and you cannot even properly put in perspective who suffers the most. Is it the poor that suffers the most in this circumstance?
Okay.
The man who took 300 million naira loan to start a manufacturing company, who has been told to go home and not come out. How do you say that he has suffered less the consequences of this COVID-19 than the woman who is at home and has not fed for the past 2 days? How do you begin to do this? Do we understand that food palliative is different from social palliative? It's different from infrastructural palliative. It's different from legal palliative. It's different from legislative palliative. It's different from religious or psychological palliative. We must understand what palliative measures we want to take that will satisfy the various
Andy, you cannot come and rant about how the federal government or maybe state governments or whoever going about palliative measures without proffering a solution, because we you're just going. So if you were in the position of the president or any of the governors, what would you do as palliative measure? Just tell us.
In my article, I took an example. I said, a woman who paid the landlord rental for 1 year, and she would need to go to that shop every day to be able to raise money for the next year.
Okay.
A simple thing that the government could have done is that all tenement rates in the period that tenement rates that are charged landlords in the period that this COVID-19 would hold sway, in the period that this COVID-19 would be ravaging the people, in the period that people will be at home, we are no longer going to charge landlords, and landlords will return these monies to the people who have paid this rental.
Okay.
That's one palliative, for instance. Another palliative would mean that you can speak to the bank chief and tell them that you must put a stop on every kind of loan facility right now. Interest should not be running on any loan, because if people are not making use of these loans, so we must put a stop on it. Another palliative will mean that if you are collecting monies, NURTW or whatever, collecting monies from transporters, for instance, you must say to them that do not collect levies, do not collect duties, do not collect all these rates in this period that these things will be happening. You can go to the telecommunication companies and speak to them also and say to them, we want you to give data at this amount. You can go to DSTV and say to them, you have been charging the people by bouquet. We want you to charge them by the TV, the stations that they watch. These leaders should think now, Kofi. You did not elect me to be the president.
And
if you want to get solutions, you should pay me to give them solutions.
And
I encourage you to be a cook, to be my cook. You do not expect that I will be telling you how to make food for me.
Finally, Andy, before you go, I mean, you have taken time to analyze some things about the president. There's a lot to look at, but we don't have all time, so we just have to leave it at that. And look at the final issue, because I want to take calls from those who are watching me online right now. Okay,
before you go to the final issue, do you know there are typographical and grammatical errors in the president's speech? What is fully? Knowing fully well is that English? Knowing fully well is the English. I can pick out a lot of them.
Andy, is that what matters at this point? Is English our language? I mean, do you want performance? Do you want performance? Do you want a way out, or are you interested in English?
I'm saying that in communication, you have to.
So the Nigerians, Andy, just a second. The Nigerians who the president.
Let me land on this thought.
Yeah, go on.
I give it for example.
Yeah, go on, please.
If you use the word bogus, a lot of times Nigerians would say bogus means something that is big, that is baggy.
Okay.
If you use the word bogus elsewhere, if you write a speech and you say bogus, meaning that the thing is big, you would have completely lost a lot of people on that word, because bogus actually means fake. So the people who know would imagine that bogus that you have used there is fake. But meanwhile, you who is writing the speech, you are using bogus to mean something that is baggy or something that is big. So your whole speech would have been rendered completely stupid, completely of no effect. We are saying that if you must communicate in English language, that's why you have speech writers now. You must have them do what is the best thing to be done.
Andy,
I
allowed you. Andy, please, Andy. Now, you're saying that the president had typographical, grammatical rather errors and in his speech, and that this is about communication. The president is speaking to over 200 million Nigerians, at least those who had electricity to watch him or listen to him. But most of them don't care. What he said is what they understand. Shouldn't we be more interested in the performance than the English, the grammar? Who grammar help? Okay.
English language has not changed. We are able to speak.
Are the Nigerians who are listening to the president interested in his speech and interested in the details, the performance, and whatever information than the typographical or grammatical errors. Are they interested in that?
It's not about whether Nigerians are interested. It's about doing things rightly. Do you get my point? You don't do things because you say, oh, these people will not understand, or these people are not interested. No, you do things because it's the right thing to be done. It's the best way to do it.
Okay,
all right. That's why we should have.
And let's move to the last issue before we almost do an hour here. No, let's go to the last issue so I can take some calls. And I really appreciate you incisive. It's always explosive having you on. But I won't let you go without giving you a chance to talk about this final issue. For those who are watching, it's still Late Night Talk with myself, Kofi Bartels, and of course we're live on Facebook. On my page if you're watching right now. If you're watching on some other place, maybe somebody is hosting a watch party, you can simply go to facebook.com /Kofi on air, or search for Kofi on air. The page is called Kofi Bartels on air, but the address is Kofi on air. We're also live on YouTube. You can watch us on YouTube. Just simply search for Kofi Bartels and you go to the YouTube page and you can watch us live. My guest this evening is a table shaker in a three-piece suit. That's what I call him. His name is Andy Akpotive. He's a nation builder. He's a medical administrator. He is a public affairs commentator, an analyst, and he's an author. Andy, what's the name of the book he wrote?
Unveiled How to Run a Profitable Hospital Business in Nigeria.
Unveiled How to Run a Profitable Hospital Business in Nigeria. For those who are watching us right now, listening to us, watching on Facebook and on YouTube, how can they get a copy of your book?
You can. It's on Amazon. You can go to Amazon. You just search Unveiled How to Run a Profitable Hospital Business in Nigeria, and Akpotive. You will get it there. You can come on my Facebook, my Instagram, my Twitter page, Andy_Akpotive, Andy Akpotive, and you send me a message. I would get a copy of the book to you wherever you are in Nigeria. And if you're outside Nigeria, you can always get it from Amazon. It's a bestseller on Amazon, and we're working at making it a bestseller in New York Times.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, Andy, I want to read some messages before we go to the last question. We have Faithful Benjamin who says, Kofi Bartels. Okay, I'm just gonna leave this out. Kenneth Nwokore says, just a Confucian speech without any hope. Okay. God's Power Echendu says, watching from NPA work. Okay, God's Power, nice to know you're there. Julius Mba says, madness is when you lock down Lagos, Okon, and Abuja and start sharing money in Nasarawa. Okay. Ukatejit Julius Oyet says, we play with everything in this country. Josephine says, well, if that will save the situation, talking about the extension of lockdown, then there's no problem. The Saint Demo says, okay, I'm just leaving this one out. It says, Andy, please, the president, leave him alone. You can run from any political party and contest. Okay, I read that already. Sonia Yenagbe says, good evening. Thank you, Sonia. He said, lockdown is no longer fun. I'm tired. Princess Esindo, thanks for joining us. Good evening to you. Otaru Dawu says, palliatives is tribal, political, and sentimental, and fraud in nature. Florence Ngozi Ekwe says, this is serious. I'm tired of sitting at home. Princess Esindo says, it is absolutely necessary. I'm sure she's talking about the extension. But things need to be put in place to provide the citizens relief. One without the other will not work. Interesting comments, Princess. Akanto Asogo says, I see revolution ahead because no palliative stomach infrastructure. Nemi Derefaka says, this is an interesting conversation. Thank you, Nemi. Gabriel the Hero has a very long one. I don't think I can read it all. He says, nothing new about the president's speech. Why didn't he allow journalists ask him some pertinent questions that are bothering Nigerians? Lagosians are keeping night watch as a result of hoodlums. Government of Namibia is sharing money to her through bank accounts. It's verifiable. Mr. President made mention of some countries that are observing the lockdown without telling us how they are providing money and foodstuff for their citizens. May God help Nigeria. All right, Gabriel, I ended up reading your whole message. Lucky you. Eddie Nwanko says, before we say the lockdown is ineffective because the confirmed cases increase, we should remind ourselves that the president said the lockdown was to enhance NCDC's contact tracing and testing effort. That more contacts were traced and more confirmed cases were found and isolated shows the lockdown was helpful. And I hope you're listening to that. What do you think about that last comment right there?
Hello?
Yeah, did you hear the last comment?
No, I didn't. You were very faint.
Okay, it says, can you hear me now, Andy?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, this last comment says, before we say the lockdown is ineffective because of the confirmed cases increasing, we should remind ourselves that the president said the lockdown was to enhance NCDC contact tracing and testing effort. That more contacts were traced and more confirmed cases were found and isolated shows that lockdown worked or was helpful. What do you say to that, Andy?
Kofi, what I'm just saying, and I hope Nigerians understand.
He's saying the fact that more people have been found positive means the lockdown is working.
I'm explaining. I'm explaining that what I'm saying is that is there a better way of doing a thing? If you ask me, we can be very scientific regarding this issue. Mm-hmm. Kofi, I will take out time between now and Friday and put out my opinion about what we can do in Nigeria that is a Nigerian solution to fixing this thing, including contact tracing. Kofi, what's happening right now? You know what Asha said? Asha said one day the river would overflow and there will be nowhere for us to go. And we will run, wishing we had put out the fire. There's fire on the mountain. What's happening right now is that if this thing stays beyond the next 14 days, I am afraid that the things that we may begin to see would be a major shocker even to the president and to the leadership of this country.
Okay.
Because
so what do you think we'll be seeing in the next 14 days?
And I said it from the very first day that the River State governor shut down River State. I said what we started seeing in Agege, what we started seeing in Lagos, what we are seeing even in South Africa would be a child's play compared to what we will see here in Nigeria. Okay?
What will we see? What will we see in Nigeria, Andy? Can you tell us, please?
The people somebody put up something on his Facebook page and he said that the law says I should not go out and I want to obey the law.
Yeah.
But there is something that is a bigger law, which is the law of nature. Right. Hunger says I should go out.
Okay.
Between the law of nature and the law of man, which can I obey? The law of nature is natural to us.
Okay.
The law of nature is when
Andy, to abridge it, what are you predicting will happen? Maybe you become a prophet of doom or something.
If the Nigerian government don't put on their thinking cap to design homegrown solution that is peculiar and particular to us, you may have them overrun very soon. The street will be filled with people who are hungry, who would care less about what coronavirus is. And they will get onto shops, they will get onto the houses of people, and they would want to feed. This is the reality, and reality in explicitity. I am sure they are aware of this, but they are just playing the ostrich. Unless we sit down and say that what America did, we are unable to do it. Yeah. What the British authority did, we are unable to do it. What the Chinese authority did, we are unable to do it. So what can we do to make our people happy in this period? What can we do to continuously curtail this disease from spreading? What can we do?
Andy, we have to go. Finally, you talked about crime and criminality. Of course, you must have heard already about the cases of attacks, on people, armed robbery attacks, and on the increase in Lagos and Ogun states. Your thoughts on that, very, very quickly, because you already started talking about it. Hello, are you there?
Yes, you said what can we do to stop crime and criminality?
Yeah, the increase in crime in Lagos state, in Ogun state, with the lockdown, people are going hungry and all that.
Kofi, you don't break the tap and prevent people from drawing from the spill that comes out of the tap. If you want to prevent people from rushing with their bucket to take water from the tap, you ensure that there is no break, there is no burst, there is nothing that would affect the pipe.
Okay.
You must protect the pipe in the first instance. Your decision must be such that it does not allow you break the pipe, because once the pipe is broken, you cannot prevent people from drawing from it. Exactly what is happening in the Niger Delta. Sometimes you hear that there is oil spill, a certain pipe has been tampered with, and you see people running there with their buckets, they are fetching from it and all that.
It's a natural consequence that people want to benefit from these things. Because indeed we have not taken the best of decisions. We must live with the consequences of those bad decisions that we have taken.
Andy, we have to go. Yeah. Hello, Andy.
Yes, please.
Okay, so we have to pull the plugs because we're almost at the time where we have to close, and I have one more call to make. But it's been quite interesting talking to you. You've said that we need to act fast, to prevent anarchy ahead. But if the anarchy comes, I believe that you and I will be the first. Might be, God forbid, but I mean the people on the streets who are maybe middle class, lower middle class, upper middle class will be the first point of call by these guys because they won't go to they won't go to Aso Rock. They won't go there.
Yes, but finally,
they won't go to Brick House.
Nigeria is not hugely a service-driven economy. The Great Britain, Japan. These countries, these developments, they are over 70 to 75% service-driven economy. Nigeria is purely an agrarian economy, subsistence economy, where people must come out on a daily to take care of make their ends meet. People must come out to be able to feed themselves and feed their families. If you must tie them down because of a better good, you must be ready to put on your thinking cap to involve a process that will keep them tied down and will not allow them to get involved in criminality.
All right. I'd like to thank you, Andy, for your time. It's been quite interesting, talking to you this evening.
So
and of course, we would like to have you again right here on the late night talk with Kofi Bartels. I believe that will be having an interesting time with you. I want to thank you for your time. Keep the passion on and keep the fire on. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you so much.
All right. Very interesting conversation with the man they call Andy Akpotive. He likes to be described as a nation builder. Not just a nation builder. Also, he likes to be described as a public affairs. He actually is a public affairs commentator. I'd like to read your messages here. We have one last call with a guest of ours, and Maryann Okon is on standby. We're actually behind time. If you want to call and have your say on the issues or questions I've asked this evening, feel free, because I'll be very glad to hear from you. So very important questions. I asked you, lockdown in parts of Nigeria extended by 14 days. What do you make of the president's speech and the federal government's handling of Nigeria's COVID-19 response? Were you inspired by the president's speech? In times like this, people around the world, they're looking for hope. When the president speaks, they're looking for an assurance. When the president speaks, they're looking for comfort and something to just lift their spirits. Was your spirit lifted? Did you get inspired by the president's speech? You can call right now 0806-20-99556 0806-20-99556. I've read some of your messages. I want to say good morning to Nemi Derfaka. I think you're saying you agree with Andy Akpotive. You think the problem is those advising the president. Okay. You said the article was trending on Twitter. I'm sure that's Andy's article. Is that what you're talking about? Luster Bright says, I'm just here to learn. Onyeka says, you're doing a good work. Okay, thank you very much, Onyeka. This is Andy Akpotive is a very learned man. Akpotive is a very learned man and speaks with so much passion. Okay. And Mahari says, which she says, keep it up, Kofi. Let people continue to speak out like Andy Akpotive. Kemedo Reginald, he says, Reginald, long time no see, brother. Says, you're on point. Robbery has already started in top gear. So what do you think about these? Number one, what do you make of the president's speech and the federal government's handling of COVID-19 response? Number two, palliatives. Have you received yours? Because they said they have been distributing palliatives around the country. So have you seen any around in your neighborhood? Maybe you're not part of those who need palliatives. So have you seen anyone receiving? If you're part of those who need it, have you received yours, be it federal or state? Have you seen anything? Have anything come to you? Okay. And then thirdly, COVID-19 lockdown. Hungry youth on the prowl in Lagos State. And we've had already also in Ogun State as well. What do you think about this? What's the way forward? You can call 080-620-99556, 080-620-99556. Don't forget the president gave a speech today. And we are taking your thoughts on that, as well as also giving you a chance to you can comment, or you can also call in as well. 0806-20-99556 We have two guests, one down, one to go. The first guest, of course, Andy Akpotive, who spoke so passionately, and we would like to reach out to Maryann Duke Okon. Maryann Duke Okon, who was previously with Nigeria Info FM, moved over to Lagos to join Plus TV Africa, and right now is with I'm trying to remember the name of the station. I'll get it. Okay, but she's with another station, News Central. That's right, News Central, right there in Lagos. Let's see if Maryann is ready for us, and then we can take her call. All right. If you want to call as well, 080-620-99556 is the number to call. 080-620-99556. Okay, Maryann's phone is ringing. Let's. Okay, so if you'd like to call 080-620-99556, we've been doing about an hour, and it's almost time to say goodbye. But I'd like to take your thoughts, so please call right now. 080-620-99556. What do you think about the reports we've been getting from Lagos State and from Ogun State as well, that youth are on the prowl? 080-620-99556. It's meant to be an opportunity for you to talk. So please, you can call and have your say. All right. I got some messages over the weekend from a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, who sent me some messages on WhatsApp and said, see, my friend is complaining to me that they're attacking places in Lagos. In fact, that her house is being attacked. She had to call security men, to come and then rescue her. And she sent me the chat, and I looked at it and my God, it's really crazy in that part of the country. Really, really crazy in that part of the country. And then some also messages as well were trending on Twitter, and Facebook, and people's, messages and chats that were screen grabbed from Lagos State. I'll read some of them so that you can understand what we're talking about. This one here says, let me see. Okay. So this one, it was on Twitter. It's simply Shola was the person who put it up on Twitter. He said, guys, there's a robbery ongoing at Abani Kande Street off Aruna bus stop, Ogba, Lagos. And he now tags Rapid Response Squad Lagos, Police NG and Tunji Disu, and says, this is a distress call. Help. This was some days ago. Okay, I think we have Maryann Okon on the line. We'll try and get back to her because she's calling back, so we don't waste her time. This was some days ago. I saw another screen grab of a Twitter chat, and this one is they were trying to get across to the police. It says since 12 noon. Okay, hello, Maryann.
Yeah.
Good evening. You're on to Kofi Bartels on Facebook and Late Night Talk. I want to thank you for joining us. I hope I've not caught you unawares.
Oh, no, that's fine. I'm here.
Okay. Maryann, thanks for joining us. Thanks for your time. We sincerely appreciate it. How is the lockdown going in Lagos State?
Well, from where I am, it's pretty okay. I mean, people seem to be complying.
You seem to be in a very good part of Lagos State.
Well, I mean, I don't know where it's good and where it's bad in Lagos, but what I mean to say is that a lot of people here seem to be complying.
Okay.
Although when you go further down to the mainland, people seem not to be complying as much as they should. But the Lagos State government has decided that, with the extension, they're going to make sure that people comply. It used to be for those who had to go grocery shopping, it used to be 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., but then they shifted the time to 2 p.m. So that way they could limit the movement, and security operatives are really now more sterner than usual. We have soldiers also complementing the efforts of the police officers. So it's better. It's better than what it used to be, because if you went away from the island and you went to the mainland, you'd wonder if that is part of Lagos. So people were just going about their businesses like it was nobody's. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So are you saying before now people were going around, Lagos, going to the market and moving around the neighborhoods, but now they're complying?
Of course. And some of our reporters who went to town to find out if people were really complying would ask people why they were going about, jumping on buses, taking Okadas, there was no social distancing in all of this. And they'd say, look, we make our daily bread from going out to work every other day, and if they don't, then they're not able to feed themselves, neither can they feed their family members. So this was the excuse. But did they understand how detrimental this was to them? No, they did not. But the reality is that if they don't go out, they cannot feed.
Okay, all right. So I saw your comment on Facebook, and I'd just like to read a bit of it for our listeners out there, those who are viewing and listening to us, to understand where you're coming from. Okay, you said the president's handlers have done it again. Reading straight from a piece of paper and no room for feedback and questions. What sort of leadership style is this? I mean, why did you have the view? Can you break it down for us?
So apparently, one of the problems I have, not just with the federal government, but the Nigerian way of handling COVID-19 is that the job is just left for the NCDC, which is not right. The NCDC has its job cut out for them, yes, but then every other arm of government, including the federal government, has a job to do which they're not doing. There are no daily updates. So, it's the NCDC that has to do that. But governments have a responsibility to break down this information, because there are a lot of people who still believe that it is a scam. Go through my comment section. People think that COVID-19 is a scam. So they do not understand how serious this is. And there are people who have genuine questions that need answers. But you see, the president never takes questions. Neither does he even entertain the press. Reading from a piece of paper does not deal with the problems of Nigerians. Take, for example, Lagos, some parts of Okon, were experiencing insecurity because people are beginning to break into people's houses. Just around my area, they brought it to the island now. Some groups of people were trying to break into an estate close to my estate because people are hungry. People have not been given palliatives. We keep hearing of these palliatives, but we don't see people getting them.
So let's get right into that. The next thing you put up on your post about 2 hours ago was Nigerians are on the fringes of Lagos and Okon sleep with one eye open, yet the president didn't address the situation. So what has been happening in Lagos State as regards this, people moving around and attacking people and all that? You're saying it's hunger? People are hungry?
Yes, of course. This hunger is also showing that there is a lapse in security. There's a breakdown of law and order. About an hour ago, it's not 45 minutes ago, somebody I know on Twitter posted that there was a robbery going on next to his house in Abulegba.
Live?
Yes. And they were asking for police to respond.
Okay.
The truth is that if we know that there is a lockdown, obviously there will be some form of insecurity. People will take advantage of those shops that have been shut down, businesses that have been shut down, or even people who are out there trying to sell grocery because they may not be able to afford it. So the best thing they would want to do is to steal from people. So security should not just be on the streets trying to stop people from moving around, but also make sure that people who are staying indoors are safe. But that is not the case. Our security officials, I want to applaud some of those of them who are doing their jobs properly, but there are lots of them who have not done their jobs properly. Imagine how many times a particular area has been hit by robbers over and over again, and the police is nowhere to be found. And a president of a country decides that there's going to be another 14 days of a lockdown, and you are not addressing the insecurity in those regions that you have declared an extra 14 days of lockdown. For me, it smells, for you want of a better word, it smacks of, insensitivity towards the people, because 30.5% of Nigerians fall in the category of people who need these palliatives. But we haven't even seen up to 10% of these people get those palliatives. And Lagos is the hub where it's like New York, everybody's out there to hustle.
Okay, so are we having So, do we have palliatives being shared in Lagos State by the federal government with the amount?
Well, the Lagos State government has been doing its bit, even though like LAGOSIANS are also still complaining that they still haven't seen it. The most I've seen, I'm not going to lie, is a bus stopped somewhere around my estate gate and was sharing bread to some of the people who live in the shanty areas. Just bread.
Bus from where? Lagos State government or federal government?
Yes, Lagos State government. I haven't seen or heard, and I have posted on my social media. If you have gotten any package from the federal government, please let us know. Because every day we hear billions and billions that are earmarked, but people have not seen these palliatives. Nobody is saying, oh, I got. The most I have seen is bread, loaves of bread, and people are jumping and over themselves.
Just loaves of bread. But I saw Governor Sanwo-Olu with and I even put it on my Facebook with sacks of what looked like rice and some other things, tons of them.
But again, Kofi, that's from the Lagos State government. But again, how many people, which areas have received? I have spoken to 2 NGO workers who have decided to go out of their way to cook and take to areas that they normally go to speak with people, help their children, empower them. They take their own money, buy these food materials and take to those people. And when they go there, the people start insulting them, thinking that this is what government has brought, but this is what they themselves have done. These are the poorest of the poor in those inner parts of Lagos, the people who need this help most. They haven't seen it. So I might be saying this for a few percentage of people, but are those not the people who need this help? How much of that help have they gotten? I'm waiting for the Lagos State government to counter me on this, or anybody who gets gotten. A few people have gotten, but how many of the people who need this have gotten it?
Okay. Today, the presidential task force on COVID-19 had a press conference where they said, they would be. They've tried to give money. They're trying to use people's BVN so they can identify them, because everybody has one BVN, and then send money to them. But they also are saying that they also would now like to be giving the palliative money or whatever items they have for palliatives to the states, so that the state governments will handle them. Do you think that the Lagos State government is on top of the situation to be able to take this money the federal government is giving to them, or
I feel like we're not going about this the proper way, because everything I hear the federal government saying or the COVID response committee saying, it sounds like gibberish to me. There's so many ways. I'm sure, Kofi, you also know that there are better ways of going about this, but the government seems not to necessarily know exactly what to do. So they come up with different ideas. It's more like they're trying them out. It's like trial by error. Let's see if this works. If it doesn't work, we try something else. There are better ways of going about this that way. I mean, we all have our BVNs. We all have our, if we all don't have our NINs, almost all of us have BVNs. We all do. If not, those who don't have BVNs would have voters cards. If they don't have, we all have some form of identification. We have a database. Let's start with that.
Okay.
That way you can.
Who do you think, when you're saying we all have a database, who do you think should get the COVID-19? Are you including yourself and the palliative? Are you talking about, because when you say we?
I'm not even talking about me. That's what I'm saying. The average person. Remember, there was a time when we were all in a rat race of sorts. If you do not have a BVN, whether you're a cleaner in an office or you're a market woman, if you own a bank account or you deposit money in a bank, you must have a BVN. So let's start with those people.
Okay.
At least there's a way of reaching them.
Okay.
If that is a problem, then there's a house-to-house thing. When we did censuses, of course, we've not had a census in years. Can we not do that?
Do you think these people who are going from compound to compound in Abulegba or wherever it is in Lagos State, robbing people's houses and shops and all that because they want food, they want to have what to eat, allegedly, do you think these people have BVN?
Of course, if they don't have BVNs, they have SIM cards. And you know that in Nigeria, you must register your SIM card. We don't have any excuse whatsoever. Even if we did not have those things, you can go house to house. When you're immunizing children, you go from home to home. And you mark those houses.
These people who are attacking and stealing and all that, do you think that they are the regular kind of people? Do you think they are just criminals who are who have a new excuse to commit their crimes.
First and foremost, I just like to lay the background. I like to lay the background that there is no excuse for criminality.
Yeah.
No excuse whatsoever.
Yeah.
But if there is some form of lacuna in governance or leadership, of course, criminality or the wave in crime and criminality would obviously be on a rise.
Okay.
So if government is failing to do its job and addressing these issues, and not just government, I'm putting this at the table of governments, both federal and state, and security agencies, they're not doing their jobs right. And that's why we're having this kind of reaction. People are taking advantage of the fact that hungry they never give us anything. So people, these same people, I tell you, the ones who were trying to break into an estate next to mine, they started off as begging in the middle of the road. So if you're going grocery shopping, they will stand in front of your car and say, "Auntie, anything for us?" And they said the numbers started growing. Yeah. And guess what? Now they've become full-blown criminals.
Okay. Federal government has been talking about 20,000 naira, for some time, 20,000 naira. And before this coronavirus thing came, Nigeria had what you call Minister for Humanitarian Affairs. The lady who, when they said Buhari was going to get married to a new woman, that woman, she's the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management. Some wondered why, when we have a national disaster management agency in the country and all that. But she had been talking, for some weeks now, about 20,000 naira coronavirus palliative. And earlier in the month, she said that over 2.6 million households had so far benefited from the 20,000 naira coronavirus palliative issued by the president.
These statistics, can we have factual evidence?
Okay, so let me just add another layer.
Is this just mathematics that the federal government is bamboozling us with, or can we trace these people, these 3.5 million that they're throwing around? Can we trace it?
Okay, I would like to add another layer to this one now. She said that over 11 million vulnerable people have been identified. 11 million vulnerable had been identified in 35 states, yet to benefit from the palliative measure. Of those 2.6 million people who have been given 20,000 naira, they are in the FCT. Guess what they are? FCT, Nasarawa, Katsina, and Anambra states.
Oh, so we don't have vulnerable people in states that have been hit by COVID-19, especially the states that the federal government has started
FCT.
lockdown. No. So I'm sorry, Kofi. I'm sorry, I guess it, but I'm wondering. So the states that have been locked down, Ondo, FCT, and Lagos. So the FCT people have more vulnerable people. The people in Lagos State who are dying of hunger.
Okay. The president. Hold on. Lagos State, Okon State, and the FCT.
Yeah, but so I'm wondering, these people that have been identified, in states that the vulnerable people.
Yeah.
Those states are not necessarily on lockdown. Lagos, Ogun, and the FCT are on lockdown, but the vulnerable people have been identified in other states. Are we joking?
Okay, so FCT is on lockdown. FCT is on lockdown. Nasarawa, I don't know. Katsina, Anambra, I don't know.
I totally understand where you're coming from, but I'm still trying to make sense of it.
Okay, you're talking about Lagos State being on lockdown, probably the epicenter. Lagos State was the first state to receive money from the federal government, and the state has been treated like a last born or the special child by the federal government. You know how much federal government gave to Lagos State?
And
10 billion.
Does not have vulnerable people.
No, so the government has given, federal government has given Lagos State 10 billion naira.
How many? Kofi, I asked the question earlier on. I wish this lady was here to answer my question. All of these monies that we hear on the news, we do not see people on the ground receiving these packages. So shouldn't you be asking Governor Sanwo-Olu, what have you done with the 10 billion naira? Because in Rivers State, our own budget in Rivers State is 2 billion for food. So this is the problem. That's why I'm saying the federal government has abdicated its duty, because they have an oversight function, whether they like it or not, to make sure that these monies that have been given to state governments are properly disbursed. I'm sure that the federal government has federal ministries, directors in all of these states. Somebody is supposed to oversee that. The NCDC cannot be controlling a virus and be overseeing relief packages. So there has to be a chain of command. But you see, the truth is, in Nigeria, we just do things the way we like. Somebody's padding its his or her pockets with these monies and giving these things to whoever they feel like. Again, let's talk about these packages. Have you seen one of them? Have you seen the things that are in it? It's despicable.
Okay. So, I mean, but the point I'm trying to make is maybe the federal government, or we should be asking the Lagos state government to account for the 10 billion naira they received.
Of course, there has to be an accountability.
And not the federal government.
But there has to be accountability, and Lagosians are asking those questions. But the federal government in itself has an oversight function, like I said. You've given Lagos state government money. They want money to take care of the people. Who's going to give account of these monies? If you're seeing so many reactions of people saying, we're hungry, but I've not seen these relief packages, shouldn't you be asking questions? Yes, Lagosians are asking questions. But what does the federal government come in here? Aside from waking up in the morning and sitting in front of a TV recording a message from a piece of paper.
Oh, come on. Maryann, in Lagos State, as a matter of fact, I mean, you're talking about people going hungry, and you put up a nice, post on Facebook criticizing the president. As far back as I think early this month, the news broke that the federal government, as part of apart from the 10 billion, I think it is also apart from 10 billion, the federal government presented food consignment, a whole food consignment, as a palliative to the Lagos state government. I'm just going to read this story from the Vanguard before I forget. This is on April 10. The food palliative made up of a total of 6,000 bags of 50 kg rice. 2 trucks of 20 kg vegetable oil were given to the state governor. I didn't hear that. 6,000 bags of 50 kg rice. 6,000 bags of.
We're still saying the same thing. These are numbers thrown out there.
No. It was pressmen were there. They filmed everything.
No. You're still not getting me. Yeah. Yes. So has the Lagos state government taken receipt of these things? Yes. How many Lagosians have received these said palliatives? They're not up to 10%. That's what we're saying. Now, the average Lagosian cannot ask these questions because they do not have. You see, those people who need that food are not on Twitter or Facebook listening to this show like you and I.
Okay.
People like me and you have to go into those areas to ask these questions. Have you seen food? And like I told you earlier on, NGOs are the ones who are actually going into these areas using their own personal funds to feed people who are supposedly vulnerable. And the questions that they're being asked is, now government send you now. Now this kind of thing government give us. And those people have to say, no, this is not government, this is our personal fund. We're trying to make sure that you don't go hungry. So the question is, where is the government? You and I, we're the ones who need to put Sanwo-Olu on the hotspots here.
Okay, all right. What's your biggest concern? What do you think is the worst that could happen if nothing is done, to make things better? In Lagos State,
it's just going to get worse. I'm sorry, it's just going to get worse.
When you say worse, how bad do you think it will get?
Well, I mean, in Nigeria, we always sweep things under the carpet. We always fix grammar, and we hope that Nigerians will just, manage until whatever happens. But at the rate of, I tell you what, as at yesterday night, if I'm not mistaken, it was mayhem in Abuleba, in certain parts of Lagos mainland. It was hell. People had to take up machetes and sticks and become their own security men. They didn't even go to bed because they were trying to protect themselves from people who have taken advantage of the fact that there are no security agencies around those areas, those leading areas. So they decided that, look, we can't keep having these people come back and rob the next house, come back. So they were not sleeping. They were all up, being their own security. In fact, they started a vigilante. And I told you at the beginning of this interview that we had another incident where somebody had to tweet that, look, there's another robbery happening in just next door. It's crazy. If the security agencies don't move into action, it's going to get worse, Kofi. It's going to keep shifting. I told you, it's already coming to the island. Who knows what's going to happen? People are hungry, and then they're also going to be living in fear. What next?
You see a mob. Hello?
It's sad. Unfortunately, the government needs to move in. I was hoping that the president would address that situation and say, I've ordered the commissioner or the IG of police to do this, that. because 2 states are involved in this insecurity, and these are 2 states that are under lockdown. At least, I know every state is sovereign and the powers rest on the governor, but at least you have the IG's ear. What is the police going to do about this? Well, you ask Nigerians to be patient for another 15 days. What are you doing about their safety? Because your number one job is to protect them, their lives and their property. And if the president has failed to address that, I'm wondering, what is the fate of the people?
Well, okay. Maryann Okon is saying you fear for the worst in Lagos State. People are having to protect themselves, take guns, take machetes, take sticks, and be their own police because hungry people are coming out to to steal from them and rob them so they can survive. It's quite unfortunate. These are worrying times. We pray for the best in Lagos State, River State, everywhere in Nigeria and the world. Maryann, I want to say a very big thank you to you. But before you go, Amy, Harry, I have some messages here. I think one of them has your name in it, so I'll just read it for you. You still have fans in Port Harcourt. Okay, Egbule. Where is this message? Okay, John Bestwich says good evening, Mr. Bartels and everyone on the show. Thank you very much. Egbule John Chijoke Maryann says, wow, Maryann Okon, lovely personality. I miss your shows on Rise to Wisdom. All right, it says Andy Akpotive. Andy Akpotive has spoken. Federal government and state government needs to listen to him. He has good points. Okay. Thank you very much, Chijoke. Maryann, I want to say thanks. Another message here before you go. This one says, this Chidebere Ndukwe says, Chidebere Ndukwe Trend FM says, you're doing a good job. All right. Okay, this is not what I wanted to read. There's another one. Okay, says, I personally feel the speech read out by Mr. President tonight did not address the many questions of Nigerians which are begging for answers. Well, I want to thank the PTF on COVID-19. Okay, that's the Presidential Task Force doing a daily review of the situation on ground. I expect it reflects on the responses and measures they push out daily. You don't want go on telling us about palliatives while we can't guarantee that people who really need these palliatives are the ones benefiting from it. Insecurity is now a threat to deal with here. Thank you very much. Another one is from Imahari. Says the NCDC should give money to Nigerians, and where there is no place to buy food to use, what should they use? What use it is? What use it is it? Okay, when there's no place to buy food, if you give us money, let the government provide food for Nigerians and go from house to house like Maryann suggested. That shall be more effective than what they are currently doing. Okay, Maryann, that's somebody agreeing with you when you said that they should go from house to house or give food instead of giving money.
And mark every house you've been to, so nobody will say, they never give me.
Okay, all right. Anything you want to add before you go, Maryann?
Well, I just want to say, because this is something that I've been thinking about seriously. This virus is real. I know 2 people who have lost family members to this virus.
Wow.
It is real.
Well, within or outside Nigeria?
No, outside Nigeria.
Okay.
2 of my friends in the US who have lost their family members. It is real. Please don't take it for granted. The most important thing you can do for yourself is to stay at home if they tell you to. And if you must go out, if you must go to the market, please protect yourself. Wear gloves. I mean, you will not look stupid. Wear gloves. Guard your face. Wash your hands. Keep a safe distance away from every other person. Just protect yourself, because the more you protect yourself, the safer you are. Please, whatever government's directives are, please follow them. And I think that the NCDC, I'm going to say this again and again and again, they have their job cut out for them. It's not enough to do adverts on TV or on radio in different local languages. How many people really do listen? And before we know it, this virus might be spreading more in the hinterlands, because you see those people don't even believe, because the people are peddling all kinds of rumors. And I think that there has to be more done by not just the NCDC, but in collaboration with other agencies of government and even NGOs. Go into those places. Even in this Lagos, there are people who still don't believe that there is a virus. Let the message be taken to all and sundry, whichever way we can, so that people can appreciate the level of this problem.
All right. Being from Cross River State, I want us to end with this slogan. Are you ready?
Oh my God.
Are you ready? Let's go. No mask. Answer now. Come on,
Don't even,
baby
don't
girl.
even get me started.
Don't come on, baby girl.
The next time you invite me on your show, we'll talk about the funny governor. But in the meantime, thank you very much.
Baby girl, come on. No mask.
I have no idea.
You have no words. You're denying your state now. All right. Shout out from all the men whose hearts you broken upon Hacker. This I should agree to you. Maryann, thanks for your time. Thanks for your time and have a lovely. We'll hook up again, definitely. All right. Have a lovely night. All right. That's been Maryann Okon, my colleague, who's joined me all the way from the city of Lagos. And of course, some very interesting points she had to make. In Cross River State, the governor of the state, his slogan is no mask, no movement. So he said, no mask, no movement, no mask. And that is what they're employing in Cross River State right now. He actually said, and I think we'll play this for you tomorrow. The governor of Cross River State said at some point that if you wear a mask, you don't need to do social distancing. That was probably a slip of the tongue because they all know that's not true. But that came from the governor of the state. He's been really insisting on the mask thing, and some people are asking, what's up with you and this mask now? But they're making masks in Cross River State at the state garment factory. Some are saying maybe they want to sell the masks. I don't know, but they're giving it out for free. Okay. If you want to participate, please, I'd like to take your calls. We have a few minutes before we're done. So I want to take a few calls, and I really would like to hear from you. I know we've had a long time with our guests on the program, but feel free to call right now. I'll put the number in the comment section, but you can also call. The number to call is 080 620 99556. We just have about 5 minutes and we're done. If you can squeeze a call through before I say goodbye, that's nice. I do understand that it's late, and some of you may be headed to bed already. We've done more than 1 hour. Actually, it is 1 hour and 32 minutes, but we spent like 10 minutes playing the intro so that the video could buffer and the software we're using could be set up quite nicely. So we've done about 1 hour and 22 minutes. But it's quite good to know that we've been able to make good time, and we have to go. But if you want to call, you want to place a call through right now, please do that. 080-620-99556. 080-620-99556. I'd like to say a very good evening to those who are just joining us online, and I've seen some comments. I really appreciate these comments as I do the other ones. The number to call again is 080-620-99556. 080-620-99556. I'll be very glad to hear from you. And a very good evening to Eugene O'Day, who joins us on Facebook. I'm looking at your comment now. Eugene, good evening to you and happy Easter. Eugene says, we cannot sustain a lockdown in Nigeria. We just follow others without considering our peculiarities. We should learn from the Swedish model of educating and allow citizens to take responsibility instead of lockdown. In Sweden, yeah, you're right, Eugene. In Sweden, what they're doing is they're allowing people to go to work. They're allowing people, go to wherever they're going to. They allow them go, but they are trying to educate them that first of all they should wear masks when they're moving around, and secondly they should also practice social distancing and washing of their hands and all that. But guess what? They may have to have a rethink in Sweden, because they've crossed I think 800 people infected, or is it 8,000 people? I don't know. And the number is rising. Last night, while listening to the BBC when I was asleep, they were discussing it and saying maybe the Swedes might have to re-strategize. Maybe they made a mistake, and they might be making a mistake the Italians made, by allowing people to move around and all that. So it remains to be seen. But Eugene, obviously, are quite convinced that we don't need to. You say we don't need to copy when it comes to this whole thing of lockdown. Let's adapt it to our situation. Let's take into let's also realize that we have our own peculiarities and take that into account. Thank you very much, Eugene O'Day. You want to call right now? We're streaming live on YouTube. We're also streaming live on Facebook, and I think majority of you, if not all of you, are watching me live on Facebook. It's Late Night Talk with me, Kofi Bartels. I bring this to you every weekday right here on my Facebook page. It's just my way of getting us talking. And from time to time, I invite my friends to come on as guests on the program, and they come. And also they have their say, like we've had today, Andy Akpotive. who's spoken so passionately. Also, we've had Maryann Okon, who's also spoken very passionately as well. And you can speak if you're awake and you're watching. I'd like to say good morning to, good evening rather, to Newton Akire, who was watching as well. Right, Newton, good evening to you. Anderson Egwenike says, wow, Maryann Okon, good to have you on the show tonight. I missed your voice. I think I read this already. Thank you very much. Blessing Ede is in with her own submission. Good evening to you, Blessing. Blessing says, I haven't received any palliatives. I don't even know how it's been given. Okay. And concerning the hungry youth, I don't blame them. As they say, a hungry man is an angry man. The way forward for the government is to remove the lockdown, put strict social distancing measures everywhere. We can't copy foreign countries when we haven't set some things in place. God have mercy and heal our land. All right. So you were saying that we should forget about everything locked down. Really interesting. Forget about lockdown, and because people are going hungry. But I mean, in countries where they have they're also going hungry as well. I think I should give you, their call. If he'll be awake, I think probably he'll be asleep. If you want me to call you, if you're watching right now, you can drop your number in the comment section, and I think I'll place a call through to you. Let's see if that will work. If you want me to call, you can place your number in the comment section, and I'll place a call through to you. But Blessing, you've shared some very important points, and Eugene as well, you shared some very important points, and I think both of you are almost saying the same thing, that we need to take into account our own peculiarities. Don't forget, it's almost like a war zone in some parts of Lagos State and Ogun State. Let me read this quick message that someone sent to me that was shared on social media. This is the DM message of somebody in Lagos State. I'll just read it. This is what it says. It says, since 12 noon now, it has been a scary moment, and these group of armed robbers with guns, shotgun and locally made guns and axe and cutlasses have been robbing street to street in my axis of Jibo U-turn, Abulegba, robbing shops and looting them in houses. I called Lagos emergency number on 767, and they said they've received many calls and they related to RRS. RRS is the Rapid Response Squad in Lagos State Police Formation. It says, I called Oko Oba Police Station DPO. He told me categorically that they have received many calls and they have been moving around on patrol and they are stretched. So this is the police. This is the police telling a resident of Lagos State, according to the resident, that they are stretched. So if people are robbing street to street and you have one police station or police post in an area, you obviously know the police will not be able to get everybody at the same time. So what some Lagosians are having to do is to resort to self-defense. Self-defense. If you have a gun, you carry a gun, licensed gun, you fire in the air, to scare them off. If you have cutlass, you put it under your bed. You have knife, you put it on. If you can lock all of you move to maybe church to go and sleep in the night. Something, So that's what's happening in Lagos State. And this person is saying that the DPO said there was no help because they are stretched, that all the officers are patrolling. So apparently, a lot of people were calling the DPO in this part of Lagos State, and they couldn't respond to everybody. Okay, I think we're done with our messages. I can't see any more messages here. I'm also doing hosting a watch party on my page, so let's see if there is any message there. But definitely, I'll be back tomorrow with more. Kende Dennis Ajobo is on Facebook, and Kende has dropped his comment. He says, why is the president not taking questions from journalists? Why is the president not taking questions from journalists? Okay. I'd like to say good evening to Koru Okujagu. Says here, the guy is not strong now, so he has to manage his words. Abi? Okay. Tony Peterside says, yeah, what is the president? What was the president going? Abina Kondes, good evening to you. Wanko Maureen Ifeanyiwa, good evening to you. Darlington Waju, good evening to you as well. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's how much you can take. I think I've read all your comments. Yes, indeed. And there's no call coming through. Obviously, You know what I'm saying. So let's leave it at that. But I want to thank you for your time. And of course your comments on Facebook. We're streaming live on YouTube. If you want to check out my page, just go to YouTube and search for Kofi Bartels, Kofi Bartels. You can see the name right there on the screen. Okay, so you can check it out, Kofi Bartels, and go on to YouTube, subscribe to my channel, and also click the notification button, the bell. All right, so that anytime I'm live, you can get notified. I want to thank you for your time. Can we share a prayer before we go? Father, I want to thank you for your mercies. To everyone that is watching this night, let your mercy locate us in a mighty way in the name of Jesus. Lord, keep us under the shadow of your wings. Protect us as we all go to bed. For those who are in need, Father, provide for them in the mighty name of Jesus. Help us, oh God, to stay and to stand strong in these times when the love of many shall wax cold. In fact, the temptation this time around, for your children is higher than before, because, of course, they said, idle man is devil's workshop. So help your children to stand in these times for you. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Son, and thank you, Holy Spirit. We pray protection upon your children in Lagos, in Ogun State, in FCT, in River State, wherever they might be. And for those who are hungry on the streets tonight, Lord, we pray that you shall raise helpers for them and meet them at the point of their need. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. Thank you very much for your time. My name is Kofi Bartels. That's a much we can take on Late Night Talk with Kofi Bartels. I'll be back tomorrow, same time. God bless you. See you. I'm out.